Hello, my friends. It is Thursday, October 3rd, and we have a lot to talk about. I have more than 2 dozen slides here to show you. Okay, first, we're going to start with this, though. What do you think of my new cursor? It's blue and gold for a reason, so hope you like it. Let's look at the quote above the losses of the Russian occupiers in Ukraine. I teach leadership, and I just thought this was wonderful. Leadership consists of picking good men and helping them do their best. Chester Nimitz from World War II, the admiral in the Pacific. That's right. Leadership is finding good people and then supporting them with everything that they need to be able to do their job. Okay, I'm going to stop talking about what I talked about in school, but here we are. 1,150 Russians off the battlefield, 6 tanks, 17 armored fighting vehicles, 37 artillery systems, 58 vehicles, and fuel tanks. The fighting's still hot, and you can see this when you look at things like this. Even the U.S. Ambassador, Bridget Brink, was talking about, we're thankful for Ukraine's brave air defenders who repelled Russia's massive overnight attack of over 100 drones on Ukraine. Yeah, that's right. Last night, they sent over 100 drones. Russia launched 105 Shahed drones against Ukraine overnight. On the 3rd of October, Ukrainians intercepted 78 drones across 15 oblasts. Wow, that's a lot. That's a lot of drones. Okay, now it's not just drones. Russia's doing a lot of other things. Russia Army drops more than 90 smart bombs on Ukraine's territory over the past day, dropping 92 guided bombs. And in addition, according to the report, Russians used 508 kamikaze drones and carried out more than 3,300 attacks on the positions of our troops and settlements. So that's what the picture is like on the battlefield. Now I'm going to shift gears some. Russia destroyed one more apartment building in Kharkiv tonight. This is what Russia's been attacking in the civilian population, and they just keep doing this day over day. Ukrainian drones are hitting back. Ukrainian drones may have attacked the Borisoglebsk military airfield in Voronezh region last night. The strikes reportedly targeted parking lots of Su-35 and Su-34 aircraft, warehouses with KABs, as well as places where aviation fuel were stored. We don't know exactly what has been destroyed there. We will find out, I'm sure, in a day or so what the actual damage is, whether a plane was hit or whether it was just ammunition and fuel, but that's what they were targeting last night. Ukrainian drones may have attacked this airfield. Oh, we just said that. Okay. Ukrainian UAVs struck the Borisoglebsk air base once again. Pictures document fires pointing in the direction of the vicinity of the air base, and NASA firm's map indicates that besides some surroundings, the air base itself is indeed on fire as well. So it was a good hit. We just don't know exactly how good or how bad the hit was. Ukrainian Armed Forces report successful destruction of a Russian Nebo-M Radar complex with ATACMS ballistic missiles. Each system cost an estimated $100 million, and now Russia has just 10 left. Russia claims Nebo-M has a range of 3,800 kilometers and can detect F-22s and F-35 aircraft. So that's a good day. Now, if they're hitting it with ATACMS, that would indicate to me that they hit it within, and I don't know where exactly it was, but within Ukrainian space, like Crimea or something along those lines. Okay, meanwhile, let's shift gears and try to compare notes between what's going on with Israel and Iran and what's going on with Russia and Ukraine, and they're tied together, and you've got to understand how tied together they are, and how there's also a double standard in things as well. Israel says we're neutral on the Ukrainian-Russian war. Russia, cool. Hey, Iran, if you want to kill Israelis, feel free to use our air base in Syria to bring your missiles to Lebanon. Lesson: Russia always backstabs everyone. Russia only respects countries that bomb Russia. That's a really interesting last line. Russia only respects countries that bomb Russia, but they don't respect anyone who is not willing to fight back. And if you do fight back, they're like, oh, okay. There's a difference there. Okay, this was the footage of the ballistic missiles being intercepted, not last night, but the night before. It's just remarkable what has been able to have been done with the interceptions. The U.S. shot down missiles Iran fired at Israel yesterday. Are U.S. and Iran at war now? Of course not. If NATO member shoots down missile Russia fires at Ukraine tomorrow, will NATO and Russia be at war? Of course not. Protecting Israel and Ukraine airspace is no act of war. It's defense. Do it. That's fair. That's right. Okay. Breaking. Israel struck Russia's Himan air base on the coast of West Syria near Giblet. Both Syrian and Russian air defenses were active but failed to intercept the strike. So it was a big thing. So Israel struck a Russian air base, or it's hard to tell if it's on the base or near the base, like a warehouse near the base, that sort of thing, but it looks like they did it. Air defense is active while Israel delivered strikes into Russia's airbase in Syria last night. Seems like, now remember, hear what I'm saying here. Israel delivered strikes to Russia's airbase. Okay, it's all tied together. Seems now that Biden and Schultz are the only two that are still living in fear of Putin. That's quite a remark. But I think Jay's right. I think that it is Biden and Schultz that are the ones that are still being contained by Putin. U.S. and G7 countries oppose Israeli strikes on Iranian nuclear facilities. Instead, the U.S. and other Western allies are urging Israel to focus on military objectives. They're like, no, 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 please just don't do any more, right? They're still trying to slow them down, but Israel has promised a serious response to Iran for massive rocket fire. It's speculated that Israel could carry out strikes on oil infrastructure, missile launchers, even targets of Iran's nuclear program. At the same time, the U.S. recognizes that its influence over Israel may be limited. Like, Israel's just going to do it anyway, regardless of what the U.S. says. And they're worried that it's going to be nuclear. Now, here's a map that might be useful in the next few days. Iran's nuclear facilities, and especially these potential uranium enrichment plants or enrichment sites. Those are the places where they're actually trying to develop, not so much a nuclear power plant, they're not interested in that, but where they're developing nuclear weapons. And make no mistake, if Iran is doing what Iran's doing now, Iran with a nuclear bomb will be far worse and act like Russia. Okay. Slowly, the civilized world wakes up to the fact that Russian red lines exist only in fairy tales. Israel's just decimated Russia's air base in Syria, an attack consisting of 30 missiles that Russian air defense was powerless to stop. And where's the red lines? Is Russia attacking Israel at this point? They're not going to do it. Smart move. Now, this is what NATO is doing as they're gently, incrementally doing something more. Smart move, speed of recognition of threat, speed of decision to move, speed of assembly are key to effective deterrence. So the general in charge of NATO, Cavoli, he's an American, approves uptick in NATO surveillance near Romania's border with Ukraine. So they're going to surveil more. Well, they weren't doing it before. Why they weren't doing it before? Well, because you didn't want Russia to say, hey, you're involved in helping Ukraine. Well, duh. Okay, this is Anton Gurushenko. Russia advances in Donetsk region. Ukraine has lost Volodar. Russia T continues for Ukrainian civilians. It really does. They're targeting civilians actively in Kherson with drones to try to destroy them. Civilians, like just walking down the street. How to stop Russia? Well, militarily, weapons for the armed forces of Ukraine. And you should let them hit back. This is precisely what must be discussed on October 12th in Germany, where U.S. President Joe Biden will convene a leader-level meeting of the Ukraine Defense Contract Group, also known as the Ramstein format. But will that actually mean anything? Probably not. I think I could be wrong. I hope that I'm wrong here, but I think that what the U.S. is doing is waiting for the Ukrainians to have enough homegrown missiles to go attack Russia rather than to allow them to do it. But if they had permission, the AFU could attack 261 military facilities in Russia. That's the range that they would have. Targets would include large arms depots, bases of the Russian military. According to the latest data, these missiles can hit 261 military facilities in the Russian Federation when launched near the front line. According to analysts, such strikes could significantly complicate Russian military logistics, and that's just where they are, but they're not allowing them to be able to do it. This is Mike Pompeo. He's Trump's former Secretary of State. And I know you're going to say, well, Trump's whatever. But listen to what he said. The inability to go after military targets that are across some notional line seems militarily silly and strategically stupid to me. And by the way, would have created no more risk. That's right. He's the former U.S. Secretary of State under Trump. And that's the right answer. Here's Ben Hodges: helping Ukraine defeat Russia will isolate Iran. Okay, we're almost thinking of it backwards now, but that's true. Isolating Iran hurts Russia. Isolating Russia hurts Iran, thus degrading Iranian support for Hezbollah, Hamas, and Houthis. It will also send a message of deterrence to China. These wars are connected. Let me say that again. These wars are connected. Okay, Russians announce, they're talking about conscription, and they're announcing conscription in the temporarily occupied territories of Kherson Oblast. I had to look this up and verify this. This article was in Ukrainian Pravda, and yeah, that looks like one of the ways that they're going to try to bolster their ranks is use Ukrainians to fight Ukraine. Meanwhile, partisans in Russia painted 3 benches in Ukrainian colors. Yeah, I don't think the Russians found that to be funny. This meme I thought was just wow. Like, okay, so this is how the U.S. treats Israel, and we'll pray for you. Okay, it's not quite like that, but I mean, there's something to the meme. Why people hate Russia? Well, Russia has invaded these countries, and this is only in the last 100 years. And so people, particularly in these countries, are very wary of Russia. And there's a reason for that. Over the weekend, I was on a podcast here with Sergei Sumaleny, and it was just put out here unmasking Russia's nuclear bluff. I don't think that the Russians are going to use it. I don't think they can use it. I think it's all a tactic to deter and contain the West. But I'll put the link to this below, and I hope you enjoy it. And then finally, this seems like some kind of metaphor of some sort for international politics. I'm not exactly sure what it is, but we're going to play it.
Oh my God!
Wow. I hope he didn't break your
He did crack it.
Did he?
He shattered it.
Wow.
Oh no.
Dude, you gotta be nicer.
Go.
I don't know what's going on in this guy's mind, but it just seems like fitting for everything that we've been talking about here. All right, my friends, thank you for your time. Thank you for the likes, the shares, the subscribes, and thank you for being the kind of person that cares about Ukraine.